Today. We learned today that Kansas has had its first presumptive positive test for the novel coronavirus, also known as COVID-19. The individual is a woman under 50 years of age who lives in Johnson County. She currently is in home isolation following the guidance of the Centers for Disease Control. The individual and the local healthcare providers followed every appropriate action recommended by the CDC to prevent the spread of the disease. Local public health officials are also working to identify and contact others who may have been in close contact with this individual and exposed to the virus. As part of standard protocol, those individuals will be monitored for symptoms. I know there is heightened concern and worry about the virus. As I have said previously, our state is well prepared. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment is working closely with the local health departments and healthcare providers on a rapid and effective response to this case and others that may occur. The Kansas Division of Emergency Management also is engaged in day-to-day communications. Let me say once again, no one should panic over this new virus or this confirmed case. Kansas still is considered at low risk for spread of the virus. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and friends is with frequent hand washing, coughing into a tissue or your sleeve, and using hand sanitizers. If you feel ill, see your healthcare provider. Much more information on the virus, including daily updates on COVID-19, are available through the COVID-19 Resource Center on the KDHE website, kdhes.gov. New information is added daily. I urge all Kansans to stay current on the virus, our response, ways to stay safe and healthy, and other useful information available on the KDHE website at kdhes.gov. I'll now turn it over to Mary Beverly, Interim Director of the Johnson County Health Department.
Good afternoon.
Mary, could you spell your first and last name for us?
Yes, sir. First name is Mary, M-A-R-Y. Last name is Beverly, B-E-V-E-R-L-Y. I'm Interim Director at Johnson County Department of Health and Environment. And as Governor Kelly said, we are monitoring this situation very closely. At our Johnson County Health and Environment, we're doing everything possible to keep the public safe. This individual did everything right. When symptoms started, they used a mask and then self-isolated. They notified their physician before going into the doctor's office so others would not be infected. The best thing people can do to help is to remain informed and take routine precautions. As Governor said, washing hands frequently, covering your cough, and staying home when you're sick are important things. We, along with our public health partners at the state, local, and national levels, are working diligently to coordinate efforts to keep the public safe and informed. There is currently no evidence of widespread community transmission of COVID-19 in Johnson County or in the Kansas City metro area, so the risk to residents remains low. However, this situation is evolving and subject to change. Thank you, and now I'll turn this over to Dr. Lee Mullen.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Lee Norman, the Secretary of the Kansas Department of Health and Environment and the State Health Officer. As Mary pointed out, it's really gratifying to see we practice these things during quiet times, and then when things get busy, and then when the first case comes up, it's just great to see when everything just works in a concerted and effective manner. One of the other things I think is really important, and oftentimes we know that you want more information about a particular patient. In this instance, patient's doing well,
May warrant. We would just again remind everybody, as much of the messaging has been, and it really is, it's about good hygiene. Make sure that you're doing those things that prevent the spread of whether it's the flu or in this particular case, coronavirus. And then also look to KDHE and your local public health officials, and just really do the things that they're asking you to do. Stay informed that way, and we should get through this with no problem. And again, we remain postured to support local health officials, and we'll continue to monitor the situation as appropriate. I'm back, turn this over to Governor.
And we're just open for questions.
Yes, it's a woman under 50, right? When did she first present symptoms? When did she get tested? And do you know how many people she's come in contact with?
I believe that the first symptoms began March 1st, and then symptoms testing presumed probably the second or third is when she went into her doctor's office. I'm sorry, you had a third question.
Yes, and do you know how many people she came in contact with that you have to contact?
Well, as I said, she did everything right. So she immediately put a mask on when she knew she was developing symptoms. And even before she went into the doctor's office, she ensured that she had her mask on, and the doctor's office got her into isolation quickly. So I would say if she exposed anyone, it would have been her family. And we are in close contact with them right now and have no reason to worry at this point.
Can you tell us how large the family?
No, sir, I don't really know that.
Has she traveled out of the country recently?
She had prior to her illness. Not out of the country, I'm sorry, no, within our country.
Do you know where she had traveled?
We actually know in the northeastern United States. That's what we know.
So you have not directly traced her case back to any other
Yes.
confirmed cases?
Well, I would say that we have, but that's kind of one of those things that we try to protect the patient and, limit that kind of information to those that need to know.
But in general, she came in contact with somebody else who already had
We have not confirmed that answer.
it.
We don't know that she's come in contact with an actual case.
What's the reason that is outlying that you suspect that, what's the connection then?
Because she traveled to a region of the United States where we knew we had some positive cases.
Dr. Norman, there was a long article in the Atlantic, and, this information can be so, and the headline is, "You're likely to get the coronavirus," and it talks about how some variations of the virus cause the common cold, and that a lot of people are asymptomatic even when they have the virus, and that it's going to just become ubiquitous. As a physician, what do you say about that?
Oh, I don't think everybody's going to catch this coronavirus, number one. Coronavirus is a global, there's many different kinds, four that cause disease in humans. Matter of fact, there's even a little bit of confusion. The respiratory viral panel that we've done forever has a coronavirus on it, and it always has, it just causes a common cold. But it's not the novel coronavirus. I don't think there's any reason to believe that every person in America is going to catch the coronavirus. And I think in large measure, it's unmitigated now, but it won't always be unmitigated, meaning there will eventually we'll have medicines and especially a vaccine. So I anticipate that people will get this coronavirus, but I don't think there's any reason to assume that everybody's going to get it.
One of the problems that they've been talking a lot about lately is the fact that we don't really have a handle on how many people might be infected because so many people can be asymptomatic. Is that an issue?
It is an issue because 80% of people will have a minor illness. They might not even connect the dots and say, "Oh, this is a novel coronavirus," or they might not even be symptomatic at all. So there's always going to be a smoldering amount of asymptomatic, minimally symptomatic coronavirus out there.
Have you tested? I don't understand exactly the way you use the word. The governor said a presumptive case. Does this lady have or not have
Yes.
coronavirus?
This is a presumptive positive, and we're using, this is a new test. And one of the things that in working with the CDC, it's a brand new test kit, and the CDC provides it. We're doing presumptive positives, and then the CDC is finalizing it so that it's a final. But we have every reason to believe that a presumptive positive is a positive.
Well, you all use the word confirmed. Should we treat this as a confirmed
Yes.
case?
Yes, treat it as a confirmed case.
Were they tested here locally now that we do
Yes,
that?
Kansas Department of Health and Environment Lab, KHEL lab.
For the director, are you giving any guidance or advising agencies, organizations, businesses in Johnson County and the larger Kansas City metro to either cancel events
are you advising schools to consider canceling classes? I'm kind of curious, what's your kind of messaging to the people who are trying to make decisions?
Right now, no, we are not advising any closures. We're going to watch this very closely, and I want to point out that, when we have a case such as this, we do a very robust contact tracing investigation. So everyone that the individual came in contact with, we will be talking to and monitoring them for symptoms. So at this point in time, no, we would not advocate for any closures of events. But if we see, that in the near future that is something that needs to happen, we'll certainly be communicating that.
And when you said monitoring, you're doing contact tracing, does everyone you trace get tested?
No, sir. Those would be individuals that the actual confirmed case has come in contact with during their infectious period. And so for that period, roughly 14 days, we'd be really looking at how much contact did they have, for how long, and while the person was symptomatic. And so we're just going to be monitoring those folks to make sure they don't develop any symptoms.
Should they isolate themselves?
Yes.
Are you not taking tanks around the house or anything?
No.
Is the woman forced to stay at home? Can she leave if she wants to?
So at this point in time, we feel very confident she's going to go ahead and isolate herself at home. In fact, she was initially very forthcoming about what she was doing and making sure that she was wearing a mask and things like that. So we have every confidence in that.
If there are more cases, would they be forced to stay at home?
I would like to turn this over to Dr. Woman, if I could, just so he can explain that to you.
We have the governor, General Taffanelli, and I have the ability to quarantine people against their wishes if they are deemed to be a threat to the health department. So we can do that. That's obviously a drastic move, very seldom comes up. Usually we negotiate with people, work out a good situation, and they're comfortable being quarantined or, isolated in their own.
In the KDHE update yesterday, it was said that there were 2 individuals under investigation. You obviously have one person has presumptive positive. Do you know if the other individual?
The others are negative. And the fact that you said 2, that was so yesterday. We're testing people every day. Sure. It's just, that's the trend line we knew was going to happen.
What specific symptoms did this individual show that had her contacting her physician?
Right. Well, the symptoms that we actually, have known that COVID-19 is causing, which would be the cough, maybe a slight fever, and shortness of breath. Just generally feeling pretty badly. So those are the symptoms.
Secretary, you said you were testing people every day. How many possible cases are there right now?
So sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Well, there's one case. We're testing a few, but we have a spreadsheet where we're monitoring both people that are traveling, people that have presented with symptoms that could represent community spread. So they're added to the list on one end, they drop off on the other after 14 days.
In the sense of how long that list is?
80.
And are they concentrated in a particular area of the state?
No, they're all over the place. And most of them are because they've been identified to us just through travel or have self-identified.
So
through
no
travel,
symptoms.
but they're not most of them are not even symptomatic. Now, the people we test have symptoms because we don't test people that are well.
Right, but
80 have been tested.
I'm sorry, Mark?
You said 80 have been tested?
No, 80 people are the ones we're monitoring at home quarantine, self-quarantine, because they've been traveling. They are well people that have traveled to China, traveled to South Korea. So there's an ever-enlarging list. The good news is, and for your question, that people drop off the other end as new people come in.
Is this person who's now been confirmed, was she on your monitoring list prior to presenting symptoms?
No, because she didn't come from an endemic area.
and how do you get that list of people who've traveled?
That comes from the Division of Global Migration and Quarantine of the CDC. They monitor people coming from, initially it was only China, Now they're adding in South Korea, and I think the intent is to add in Italy as well. Because that's where most cases are
Testing capacity is still at 60 per day roughly.
easily.
Thanks, guys.
And she's